Amen and Osar had
Thompson.
Yeah, the Thompson twins. They had pre-draft workouts with the Blazers. Dame was there, all smiles. What if Scoot is there at 4?
Oh, and that'd be great. But if the Rockets like him, it'd be a dream come true to me.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that the Rockets liked him at 2, but the Rockets probably like him. They would. I would imagine if Scoot is there at 4, that's a different story.
There has been a report that he may drop to 4, like that. Some people are liking Amen because of he's long, he's lanky, and just has such raw talent that if you develop him, he'll become one of like the better guards in the league. So there are some that do believe Scoot could drop.
Maybe Scoot just has a cool name and just had a lot of juice behind him in terms of, because everything was Scoot and Wembanyama and Scoot Wembanyama. And maybe basketball people get in there and they're like, because I see this with NFL draft all the time where media will hype somebody up, and I get in there and watch tape like, what?
Yeah.
Where did this come from? They may be the same way with Scoot.
There is a free agent out there now, and do you want him back in town? You got a choice. You get one. James Harden, Draymond Green, Dylan Brooks, Chris Paul. Which one do you want? I mean,
I'd take Chris Paul because I think Chris Paul. But here's the problem: I already know that this team would not listen to Chris Paul. They're not going to. The young guys are not.
I don't know. He's one of the all-time greats.
Yeah, but he's also not. Maybe you're right.
And with Ime, I don't think you. I think you're looking at this team, a Steven Silas team. They ain't going to get that kind of treatment anymore.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. But I don't. You got to remember, Chris Paul is like 12 years older. Or 13 years older, 14 years older than Jalen Green.
With his experience, they should go, wow, that guy knows stuff.
Yeah, they should.
That guy knows stuff.
They should versus they will is the question.
Well,
so will they? Because James couldn't get along with Chris Paul. Frankly, a lot of people can't get along with Chris Paul. If you really want to know the truth, look at how many teams Chris Paul has been on.
Yeah.
Chris Paul's been on a lot of teams now, and he's never – I'm not worried. Obviously, you don't have to worry about playoffs as much. Like Chris Paul's hurting the playoffs. I'll worry about that when you get there if you're with the Rockets. But on paper, he's the perfect fit. On paper, but his personality, he believes in doing everything you can to win a championship and to play at the highest level. And if you don't do what he likes to do, what he thinks you should do, he's going to let you hear it. And while that and I know a lot of people say, what's the problem with that, Lance? Well, there's no problem with that, except for the fact that it doesn't always work in the NBA right now. You have to know what you're up against. It doesn't really work in sports right now.
Well, we just glossed over it. Eric Reed yesterday talking about the Heat culture, and what did he talk about? He talked about you have to have uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you have to.
Well, that's what Kelvin Sampson told us. You can't be afraid of confrontation.
Yeah, that's right.
But that's, Ian, that's fine. But
if these kids, these youngsters are going to grow, they can't have Steven Silas just going, it's okay.
I know.
Right.
No, and you're right.
Oh,
you're right. I'm just trying to be predictive.
Didn't block out.
I'm being predictive, though. Like, we all know that was just performative. But this is, he tried to do that to save his job. And the fact is, he was a nice guy who got run over by his team.
They don't play hard enough.
Yeah. That's it.
That's how I want. They're not listening.
Get over pigs.
All right, now both of you guys have to get up and walk away like he did.
Yeah. You got to close out. But do you really honestly believe if they did?
I think there's going to be a lot of people in a lot of people's faces this year. I do.
Who is a lot of people?
Ime, first of all.
Okay.
He's going to get into players' faces.
Okay. You can get in their faces. We'll see how they respond.
Well, no.
There's no guarantee they respond.
Well, no, but listen, you're just assuming that they just want vibes. They want to paint their nails. They want to do all of these things.
Well, no, I
think they want to be better basketball players.
Well, I know they like
and they just
vibes
didn't know how.
Well, vibes and nails.
I think Jabari is going to be a different guy this year.
I hope so.
Yes.
I hope so.
And I think Jalen has got to look at it and go, I need to take a step.
That all sounds great on paper. On paper, this all looks good. On paper, Chris Paul is perfect for them. A distributor who understands how to play the game, who can teach you how to be a pro, but he is abrasive. And I got to know that it matters enough to Jalen Green and to Şengün, frankly.
I think he's perfect then.
He's going to demand some things of Şengün. He is perfect on paper, but it doesn't – it's just one thing I've found is that it's not as easy with young people to get them. You just think that they want to get better and they want to buy in. We'll see. Sometimes they say we want to get better, but it's they don't want to do it the way you want them to do it. They want to do it the way they think they should do it.
Well, the way that they've done it. And listen, if you're Jalen Green and you're Şengün and even Jabari, who's only been here a year, you got to go. The way we're doing it ain't working. It ain't. It's not working. So maybe we do have to listen to
if it matters enough, that will happen. But it's going to start with the head coach. The head coach is going to have to lay the hammer down, and they got to buy in.
For you guys, because they did ask Ime about whether or not he'll retain John Lucas to stay with the team. Do you feel like he's kind of a guy that maybe the other players will listen to? Because he comes off as a very stern guy and a guy that's going to give it to you straight.
He got into a KPJ threw a water bottle at him and
went
all that.
home.
But then at the same time, Luke maybe has earned respect too. I'm keeping Luke.
Oh yeah,
there's no question.
Am too. No. Luke is okay. Would you rather have Chris Paul or Fred VanVleet?
VanVleet.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I want a core guy first.
Yeah.
Chris Paul is one of those guys that. So the argument I make against James is my primary argument is it would prevent. There's two things. Number one, the idea of mentoring young people to me is laughable because I've never seen James mentor anybody. And the second problem I have is he's so ball dominant that it would keep, in terms of taking big shots too, and that it would keep potentially guys who need to go through those experiences, keep them from getting it. My argument with Chris Paul is I think he can be a very good mentor for young players, and I think he can get the ball in their hands. But I worry about his personality, and it shouldn't be this case. But we've seen it on too many teams. Chris Paul's not going to like to lose, and if he's losing, or if he's unhealthy, players are not going to listen to Chris Paul if he's sitting on the sideline in street clothes. That ain't going to happen. You can't just coach from street clothes. They got to see you doing it. And if Chris Paul's not healthy and he's trying to get in their faces about stuff, I don't know that they're going to deal well with that.